Well, hello everyone, my name is Zwiggojr and welcome back to the How Fast Can You Beat Pokemon Platinum series. Last time we took a look at Regigigas and this time we will be taking a look at our first mythical Pokemon in Darkrai. But don't underestimate it though, even though it's not a legendary, it still has a lot of special attack and speed. But one thing that Darkrai doesn't shine in is its learn set. Yes, it learns good moves like Dark Void, but that's only at level 70 or higher, so we're probably not even gonna reach that level. Darkrai isn't the bulkiest either, so we're not gonna be able to take a lot of hits. The rules are that I cannot use any items in battle, I can only use Darkrai in battle, but I am allowed to use a Gem Pokemon. Also, do not forget to subscribe because we are trying to hit 100,000 subscribers. We are only 4,000 away, so definitely subscribe if you haven't done that already. With that out of the way, let's just jump right into this. I'm going to be naming myself Tobias for this one. A lot of you already know why, because Tobias is the one that beat Ash in the Hoenn League, I'm pretty sure, and he had a Darkrai in his team. I named my rival Tonio. Let me know if you know the reference, because I don't. We spawn in, we put all of our settings right, bloop bloop bloop. I then pick my starter, which is of course Darkrai, and my rival is gonna have a Piplup in this game. And we start off with the move Ominous Wind, which is both great and bad because it's our only attacking move, so normal types are going to be a very big problem at the start of the game. We do manage to 3-shot the Piplup and then head on to our first trainer battle. And yes, it has a Starly and this trainer battle is unavoidable. My Darkrai did learn Return via TM, but this move is now at around 10 power because its friendship is way too low. So it's literally doing 1 damage per tick. So after absolutely getting shredded by this Starly, I went into grass and had to grind up, and the only Pokemon I could actually grind up on was Shinx because I would lose to Bidoofs, I would lose to Starlies, so yeah, Shinx it is. At level 6 I went back to the Starly, got my ass handed to me once more, and did some more grinding. Then at level 8 I was barely able to scrape the win against it, but we can finally move on. You have no idea how much of a disadvantage Darkrai already has to the other Pokemon. We reach the town, we get our special watch, and go to the right to do our second rival battle, who also has a Starly. I probably could have picked up the TM for hidden power, but I totally forgot while I was playing through the game. So I spammed Return for 12 turns while also disabling its attacking moves if it attacked me, so that, you know, I wouldn't take as much damage. And with 12 HP remaining, I went into the Piplup, which did not oppose any challenge, so 3 Ominous Winds finish it off, and I can head on to Rourke. And I can reach Rourke at a time of 52 minutes, which is a little bit faster than Regigigas, but you'll see that this isn't even gonna be my final time. The reason for that is when I challenge him, I only have 5 PP on Ominous Wind, and that's basically the only move I can use because Return is gonna do no damage to his rock types. And yes, I can get to his final Pokemon Cranidos a lot of the time, but that doesn't mean I can beat it because I only have 1 Ominous Wind remaining and I cannot one-shot it, even with a crit. And my returns just don't do any damage, so I decided that I had to grind up Darkrai just a little bit more so that it would have a special attacking boost, so that he would be able to either one-shot the Geodude or one-shot the Cranidos. I returned at level 11 and I knew that this was the level that I was able to beat him. So after failing about 5 more times, I eventually got the run where I won. The match starts off perfectly, critting the Geodude and one-shotting it. This is what I needed. Next up was Onix, which we can 2-shot with Ominous Wind, and on my second turn I get the boost. So I know I've basically won this already. Cranidos comes out. I level up, I use an Ominous Wind and get the boost once more. He uses a potion, but it isn't enough because 1 more Ominous Wind finishes the first gym battle. We then get the fashion case, and you know Darkrai is just a fashionable man, so this is gonna come in handy. I then capture my 2 usual HM Pokemon, Starly and Bidoof, and at 1 hour and 24 minutes I reach Mars. And I was actually able to beat her on my first attempt, 2-shotting the Zubat because it missed its Toxic, and next up is of course Perugly. So what I was doing is spamming Quick Attack on the Perugly until it started hitting me with scratches, then I disabled the scratch and the only other attacking move it could hit me with was Feint Attack, which barely did anything, so eventually I could whittle it down with my Quick Attacks and barely scrape a win here. Then at 1 hour and 44 minutes I reach Gardenia, which is still a better time than Regigigas. And Gardenia is, up until this point, even harder than Rourke. There are multiple factors why she is this hard, but the main factor is of course Rose Raid. When my Darkrai beats Turtwig and Cherrim, it levels up and learns Hypnosis, and then I can reach the Rose Raid. But I miss my Hypnosis a bunch of times because it only has 55 accuracy. And even if I don't miss, Rose Raid can still do a bunch of damage against me. Turtwig isn't that much of a problem because most of the time it just goes for Reflect, but Cherrim can be very annoying with Grass Knot and Leech Seed. So what I decided to do in my winning run is I grinded up my Darkrai one more level so that he would just have Hypnosis from the start of the battle, which means that my chances of survival are way bigger. So I start off by using Hypnosis on the Turtwig, and my Darkrai's ability is of course Bad Dreams, which does a little bit of chip damage every turn your opponent is asleep, which for Darkrai is an amazing ability. I then go for the Ominous Wind, get the boost, and the turn after that I can take it out. Next up is Cherrim. I try to go for the Hypnosis, but I miss and it sets up a safeguard, so I can't go for Hypnosis again, so I one-shot it with a critical hit with Ominous Wind. And I also get another set of boosts. Last is Rose Raid. I go for the Hypnosis, but I'm dumb because the safeguard is still up, so the turn after that I go for the Ominous Wind, get another set of boosts, but she uses her Citrus Berry to heal up, and my final Ominous Wind isn't enough to one-shot, so I now have to finish off the Rose Raid with quick attacks because she used another potion. After 2 more of those, it's down and we have our second gym badge. We then challenge Jupiter at the top of the Team Galactic building because she kidnaps a freaking bunny, and this can't be a speed run if we don't have any trouble. And that is exactly what we have with Skuntank over here, because it poisons me almost every single time I try to challenge it, which eventually leads to my downfall. So the only thing that I could do here is just challenge it over and over again until it doesn't poison me, and eventually that did happen, and that way I was able to beat Jupiter. We then get attacked by a rabbit as we go into Hearthome City, and I have now got rabies. A long court case later, and I can finally reach Fantina. Before I challenge her, my Darkrai did learn Thief via TM, which is going to be a great stab move against her ghost types. She starts off with Duskull, which goes down with Ominous Wind and Thief. Next up is Mismagius, so I go for a Thief once more to steal the Citrus Berry off from her so she doesn't heal up later. I then go for the Ominous Wind, get the boost. After that she uses a potion and I finish off Mismagius with 2 more Ominous Winds. I level up and one-shot her final Pokemon Haunter with 1 more windy move. Next up is another fight with Tonio, and with Prinplup and Roselia he was able to beat up Darkrai a couple of times, but on my 3rd attempt I was able to scrape another win. Putting his first Pokemon Staravia to sleep with a Hypnosis and the Bad Dreams chip damage combined with 3 Thieves take it out. Next I put a horse to sleep, I steal from it, he wakes up, I put it back to sleep and finish it off with 1 more wind. Prinplup actually takes 2 Hypnosises to go to sleep, but once it does, it isn't a threat anymore, so we can take that thing out with a couple of moves. Last up is Roselia, which we are also going to put to sleep and steal from it with Thief until it eventually dies. I get arrested for mugging and head on to the next town, which is the town of the 4th gym leader, Maylene. But before we challenge her, I will be picking up a few TMs in Thunder and Focus Blast, as well as Fire Blast and Blizzard, even though Darkrai cannot learn Fire Blast. Because I need a good special move to be able to take down Maylene, I decide to go for Thunder on my Darkrai and delete Return. Thunder is also going to be amazing against Crasher Wake and my rival's Prinplup. Eventually at 3 hours and 50 minutes I'm able to reach Maylene. She starts off with a Meditite, which is Psychic Fighting type, so my Ominous Wind is super effective. It doesn't quite take it out, we get hit with a Rock Tomb, which lowers our speed, with the Thief after that finishes it off. Next up is Machoke, so I decide to go for Hypnosis to put it to sleep, then Thunder it and finish it off with Ominous Wind, and last up is her big Lucario, which I decide to take out the same way as Machoke, except I do not hit my first Thunder. I hit my second one, I then get hit with a Force Palm, but I can eventually take it out with 1 Ominous Wind. After that, it's time to lose to our rival a couple of times, getting shredded by his Roselia and Primpla because I of course miss a lot of my moves in Hypnosis and Thunder, which don't have a lot of accuracy. Eventually though, I was able to not miss every crucial move, and in that way my rival was a piece of cake. One-shotting his first Pokemon Staravia with a Thunder, two-shotting Ponyta with Thunder and Ominous Wind and getting my boost on the Ominous Wind, putting the Roselia to sleep and two-shotting that as well, and finally Primplup, which we can also take down with a single Thunder, and with that we can head on to Crasher Wake, which of course is gonna be a Thunderfest. I reach him at 3 hours and 38 minutes, which is not too bad, but you know, compared to Giratina, Palkia and Dialga, really bad. We all know he starts off with his Gyarados, which is quad weak to Thunder, so that's an easy one-shot. Floatzel is a one-shot as well. And last up is Quagsire, which we start off by putting to sleep and then two-shotting with Ominous Wind and Bad Dreams chip damage. And just like that, we now have 5 gym badges. We then go to the Psyducks, which are ducks, of course, and ducks are birds. And you know which app has a bird as its logo? It's Twitter, where you can follow me on, where I sometimes post funny stuff, so you can, you know, click the link in the description and follow me if you want to. You don't have to. We then go to the ruins and challenge Cyrus for the first time, and he starts off with his trusty Sneasel. We of course start off by putting it to sleep and missing a bunch of Thunders, but eventually the Bad Dreams chip damage as well as one Thunder takes it out. Next up is Murkrow. We miss our Thunder, hits me with a Nightshade, but another Thunder hits and takes it out. And last up is Golbat, which is incinerated by a Thunder as well. Since we now have access to Surf, we head on to Candlelight City and do another rival battle. And on my first attempt, I actually won, taking out Staraptor with Thunder, putting Heracross to sleep, and thundering it twice to take that thing out as well. Then Rapidash comes out, I miss a ton of my moves, but eventually I put it to sleep. And I Ominous Wind it 2 times, I get my boost as well. Eventually it wakes up, it goes for a takedown, and the recoil damage takes it out. Empoleon comes out, I put it to sleep, do a little bit of chip damage with Bad Dreams, and then finish it off with Thunder. And finally is Roserade, who we again put to sleep and put some wind on it to win the rival battle. I then learn Focus Blast to my Darkrai and head on to Byron's gym, which as you all know is Steel type, and I can reach him at 4 hours and 37 minutes. And there is not much to say about this fight, I just Focus Blasted my way through his team, didn't miss a single move and one-shotted everything. Easiest gym battle I've probably ever had. We then do some sailing to a random island. After getting stuck there for months, I finally get back, and what happens? There's an explosion. You know, if the legs go boom boom, we have to go fix, so that's exactly what we're gonna do right now. Of course, the first one we have to take down is Saturn, and he starts off with Golbat, which we take down with Hypnosis, and then 2 Feint attacks. Toxicroak next, so we go for Hypnosis again and spam Ominous Wind after that. Last is Bronzong, so I put it to sleep once more, go for the Focus Blast and then Feint Attack, and boom, we win the first leg battle. Next up is Mars, and since she has basically the same team, I'm not gonna show Golbat and Bronzor because they went down the same way, and Purugly was 1 Focus Blast. So yeah, with that, we smack our way into some snowballs and go ahead and challenge Candace. And of course we reach her at 5 hours and 24 minutes, which is a really bad time actually if you compare it to Dialga and Palkia. As you may expect, Candace is absolutely no problem for Darkrai one-shotting Sneasel with Focus Blast. Abomasnow also goes down in 1 hit. Frozlaz is a 2-shot with Feint Attack, but that doesn't really matter. And Piloswine is another Focus Blast. We then head up to the lake, see our rival loses once more, and go to the Team Galactic hideout. Cyrus gives his amazing speech once more. Let's see what he has to say this time.
My pledge is to help people who need for like people money and all this.
Amazing, this man keeps on surprising me. Even though the man gave a great speech, that doesn't mean that we don't have to kill him. Cyrus himself was a little bit of a problem because of Honchkrow and Crobat, and because I don't have Thunder anymore. And I also missed a lot of Hypnosis, and Darkrai is of course pretty damn frail, but after 16 attempts I was able to beat this man into submission. Of course, one-shotting Sneasel with Focus Blast, that is easy peasy. Focus Blasting the Honchkrow twice while getting hit with a Drill Peck to take it out 2. Then Crobat comes out, who we put to sleep with Hypnosis, wear him down with Ominous Wind. He then wakes up and uses a full restore. I then put him back to sleep, and 2 more Ominous Winds finally let me win against Cyrus. Last up was Saturn, which goes down the same way as all of the other commanders by spamming Hypnosis and then eventually taking all of his Pokemon down with either Ominous Wind or Feint Attack, because I of course eventually run out of Ominous Winds. We then set the Lake Trio free, go to Mount Coronet, eventually reach Spare Pillar, and over there it's of course the biggest cluster of events in Pokemon history. Just kidding, have you seen the quantity of cutscenes in Pokemon Sun and Moon? Anyway, the fight with the commanders went as you expect, honestly not having too much problems, because I could put most of their Pokemon to sleep, and a lot of the times they would also target my rival's Pokemon and not Darkrai, which I was very happy about because otherwise I would be stuck here for a long time. I'm just gonna wrap up this fight and head on to the cutscenes. We see Dialga, we see Palkia, we see some red chains. I don't know what Cyrus is trying to do with those, that's just weird. Boom, all of a sudden there's a hole in the ground, big black thing jumps out, and we jump into the portal where the big black thing came out. Very smart. We go into a world where everything seems to be made out of cheese, and at the end of it, it's Cyrus. He loves himself some camembert. But that doesn't mean we don't have to fight him, so that's exactly what we're gonna do. He starts off with his Thrusty Puppy, which we can Focus Blast away from here. Next up is Weavile, which can hit a Fake Out and flinch us, but after that a Focus Blast hits and takes it out. Then Gyarados comes out, which we immediately put to sleep. And then I start wearing him down with Ominous Winds and eventually also getting a few sets of boost. He heals up, I put him back to sleep and take him out in the end. Next up is Honchkrow, and because of all the boosts that we got, we can now one-shot that with a Focus Blast. And last is Crobat, which we of course put to sleep once more, go for the Feint Attack twice. He is left with a slither of health and heals up with full restore, and then I put him back to sleep and Feint Attack him to death. We then slap Giratina's booty cheeks with Ominous Wind, and then head on back to the real world and reach Volkner at a time of 7 hours and 4 minutes. But Volkner himself wasn't that big of a problem, actually beating him on my first attempt, going for Hypnosis on his first Pokemon Jolteon and eventually wearing it down with Feint Attacks. Next up is Raichu, and I miss my Hypnosis, so we get hit with a Focus Blast, which does about half of my health. I then go for the Hypnosis again and take him out with 2 Ominous Winds and some Bad Dreams chip damage. Electivire hits me with a Thunder Punch because I miss another Hypnosis, but the second one hits and I then hit it with 2 Feint Attacks and again Bad Dreams chip damage to finish it off. And last up was his Luxray, who shared the same fate as Electivire with Hypnosis and Feint Attacks. With our 8 gym badges, I go to the Victory Road, absolutely sweep through that, and go to our final rival battle, which as you may expect is very difficult. Very difficult actually, because he has a Staraptor with Close Combat and U-Turn, which are both super effective, Heracross with another very good move in Close Combat, Snorlax who just hits very hard and can literally take like 5 attacks of me. Rapidash is also a little bit of a problem because I can't 1 or 2 shot it most of the time, so if it's able to get off a Fire Blast, I'm not gonna be in a good position. So with all of my weaknesses out of the way, let's see how much luck I needed in order to beat him. The battle actually didn't start off great. I went for my Hypnosis, missed my Focus Blast, but after that the second one hits. Next up is Heracross. I go for the Hypnosis and the Ominous Winds until it eventually reaches red health, and then I finish it off with Feint Attack. Snorlax is next, so I put it to sleep once more and finish that thing off with Focus Blast. Rapidash goes down with Hypnosis, Ominous Wind, and Feint Attack. He then sends out Roserade. I put it to sleep and then he withdraws it immediately, so he sends out Empoleon, which takes a Feint Attack very well, and a Focus Blast finishes it off. So Roserade comes back out, and that thing goes down with 2 Ominous Winds, and with that we can head on to the Elite Four and start off with Aaron. Aaron starts off with his Thrusty Yanmega, so I start off by going for Hypnosis, and then I go for the Ominous Wind, get the boosts, and then one more takes out the Dragonfly. Heracross goes down the same way as Yanmega with Hypnosis and 2 Ominous Winds. Scizor goes down with Hypnosis and 1 Focus Blast. Vespiquen also gets put to sleep. I go for the Ominous Wind, it does about half, and I then finish it off with a critical Feint Attack. No idea if that mattered. Last up is Drapion, so I go for Hypnosis once more. I miss my Focus Blast, so I'm able to get off 2 Bad Dream chip damage hits, and my second Focus Blast hits, taking it out. So now we can head on to Bertha. Bertha, being Bertha, of course, has a lot of bulky ground types. 2 of her Pokemon can go down in one hit, which are Rhyperior and Golem with Focus Blast, but the rest of them can take a lot of hits very well. Gliscor especially does a lot of damage with Earthquakes, but if I can get past him, I have to be stuck on Hippowdon, of course, because it has Yawn, which puts me to sleep. It can tank so many hits and can also dish them out pretty well. And it also has the Sandstream ability, which does chip damage every single turn. Oh yeah, and if I do not one-shot Rhyperior because I miss my Focus Blast, it has Mega Horn, which one-shots me from full health. So with all of those factors in mind, let's jump right into the winning battle. I of course start off the battle by missing my Hypnosis, getting hit with an Earth Power, but then I hit an Hypnosis, I go for 2 Ominous Winds and take out the Whiscash with the Bad Dreams chip damage as well. Next up is Rhyperior, which we also put to sleep and then kill with a single Focus Blast. Next up is Gliscor, I also put him to sleep. I go for Ominous Wind, get my boost, and then I can take him out next turn with another one. Hippowdon is another Hypnosis, Ominous Wind, then we finish it off with Feint Attack. And finally is Golem. And since Golem's special defense is so bad, we can also one-shot it with Focus Blast and head on to Flint, the Fire-type user. Of course, Focus Blast misses first turn, so he can set up a Sunny Day, but the second turn it hits and takes out Houndoom. Infernape gets hit with Hypnosis, I then use Ominous Wind twice, he's left with a little bit of HP, but my Bad Dreams chip damage takes it out. Next up is Flareon, I miss my Hypnosis, I get hit with an Overheat, which does more than half of my health. Next turn, I hit my Hypnosis, I go for the Focus Blast, but it doesn't even take it out, it's not even close. I then miss a few Focus Blasts until Bad Dreams takes it down into red health and he heals up with a full restore. I then put it back to sleep once more, go for Ominous Wind twice and get 2 boosts in order to take down Flareon. Next up is Rapidash, which goes down with Ominous Wind and Feint Attack. And last but not least is Magmortar. Magmortar actually survives a Focus Blast, hits me with a Flamethrower, and I'm left with only 2 HP, so I go for the Feint Attack to finish it off. And this was one of the closest battles ever. But we can head on to Lucian. As you know, Lucian is a Psychic type user, so Darkrai isn't gonna have a single problem in this entire battle. Being able to put Mr. Man to sleep so he can't set up a light screen, and then taking him out with 3 Ominous Winds because he did use a full restore. Next up is Galate, so I go for Hypnosis once more, go for the Ominous Wind twice. It isn't quite enough to take it out, so I then finish it off with one more Feint Attack. Alakazam is next. I know this thing has Focus Blast, but I do outspeed and one-shot with Feint Attack as well, otherwise that would have been pretty scary. Next out comes Espeon, I hit the Feint Attack, it doesn't quite take it out and is able to hit a single beam and do half of my health. He then heals up with a full restore and I get a critical hit to take him out with one more Feint Attack. Last up is Bronzong, which we can take out with 2 Focused Blasts. With Lucian, the final Elite Four member, out of the way, you know what time it is. Time for Cynthia. And oh boy, I think this is the hardest battle I've had in this series so far, because I can't even count how many resets I had to do. Let's jump right into the problems here. First up, Spiritomb. It might not seem that dangerous, but it has Silver Wind and the ability Pressure, so my Ominous Winds, my Feint Attacks run out very quickly. After that, we have her Lucario, which is of course super effective against me and can one-shot me with an Aura Sphere if it wants to. Next up is Togekiss, which also has Aura Sphere and does just a lot of damage against me too. Garchomp. Do I even have to talk about Garchomp? It has Earthquake, it can't one-shot me, that's a good thing, but it can still do a lot of damage. But Milotic. Milotic isn't the worst Pokemon, but for some reason, every time I got to her Milotic, which is about her, I think her second to last Pokemon, my Darkrai just decides to miss 3 or 4 Hypnosises in a row every single time. I don't know why, but it just happens. So I decided to look through my TMs and I found a TM for Sludge Bomb, which is going to be very useful, so I decided to get rid of Feint Attack and learn him Sludge Bomb. With that, I tried again, and on my first attempt when I learned Sludge Bomb, I won. The battle starts off with Spiritomb, I put it to sleep, I go for 2 Ominous Winds, and on my second one I get the boost, and on my first one I got a critical hit. Still, that wasn't enough to take out the Spiritomb though. So she healed up, I went for another Hypnosis, and an Ominous Wind, got another set of boosts, and finished it off with a Sludge Bomb. Lucario is a one-shot with Focus Blast. Next is Togekiss, so I go for the Hypnosis, I go for the Sludge Bomb, but eventually it heals up, so I go for 2 more Sludge Bombs and take it out. Next is Garchomp, I go for the Hypnosis, I missed my first Focus Blast, but because I got 2 chip damages off with Bad Dreams, we can now one-shot with Focus Blast. My Milotic then came out, I went for the Hypnosis, and this time it connected on my first attempt, and then I just spammed Sludge Bomb 3 times to take that thing out too. And last up is Roserade. We hit a Sludge Bomb, but it doesn't quite take it out. We also get hit with a Sludge Bomb, which does a lot of damage of course, but it isn't enough, so one more takes it out, and Darkrai is now champion of the Sinnoh region. But what was Darkrai's time? Let's check it out. 8 hours and 17 minutes, which is very not great compared to Regigigas, which is only about 20 minutes behind him. That places Darkrai at almost the bottom of the leaderboard, just 1 spot above Regigigas, and 2 hours away from 3rd spot Giratina. I think the reason why Darkrai is not as great as the other legendaries is because you have to take a lot of turns putting foes to sleep and then, you know, taking advantage of that Bad Dreams chip damage. We also did lose a lot of time at the start because we couldn't beat the first trainer with Ominous Wind, and Darkrai isn't the bulkiest as I said in the beginning, so it can't take a lot of hits. Did you expect that Darkrai was gonna be this bad? Leave it down in the comments below, as well as the Pokemon that I should try next. With that out of the way, I want to thank my membership and Patreon supporters for making these videos possible. If you want to sign up yourself, you can do that by the link in the description. You can also buy merch, which is still available. And with that out of the way, don't forget to leave a like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends. I'm zwiggojr, and I'll see you guys next time.